I really wanted to get some dinner in, and I actually split the difference. I didn't finish my dinner, but I've got something that is in very easy mouthfuls that I can work with. And sorry, I wanted to make sure that the stream was up and running. So I wanted to make sure that everything was good with the stream before starting the game, but I've lost the game now. So, excuse me. Here we are. So we're going to be playing Phantom Brigade Update 4, pulling out the big guns, as we learned last week with the, with the new update. There is a lot in this patch. I'd been talking for weeks about how much I was looking forward to what was then called the Arsenal update. And it's since been split into three different entries. Early access, welcome to the Brigade. We're excited for you to experience Phantom Brigade and to help you, and to have your help shaping its development during its early access period. During the course of development, some aspects of the game might feel rough, sparse, or buggy. Every month we'll release a major update, which will include bug fixes, new features, and quality of life improvements for players. We appreciate your patience and feedback throughout this process, as we work to deliver the most important features and fixes. From the main menu, check out our early access roadmap to see what's coming next for Phantom Brigade, reach out to us via the Brace Yourself Games Discord community, or read the latest patch notes for the latest changes and known issues. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to making Phantom Brigade better and better with your help. Important disclosure disclaimer for those of you for which this applies. Seizure warning. A very small percentage of people may experience a seizure when exposed to certain visual images, including flashing lights or visual patterns. These seizures have a variety of symptoms, including lightheadedness, altered vision, eye or face twitching, jerking or shaking of arms or legs, disorientation, confusion, or momentary loss of awareness. Immediately stop playing and consult a doctor if you experience any of these symptoms. If you or any of your relatives have a history of seizures or epilepsy, it is recommended that you consult a doctor before playing, which in one sense is a great shame because I enjoy this game very much, but if you think that this might apply to you, I would, I'm going to assume that broadcasting the video is going to cause the same issue, so please keep that in mind. I wish that I had a better way of putting that reminder up during broadcasts, but in any case, the other couple of disclosures I should get out of the way. I was given a key from Brace Yourself for this game, so with that in mind, I have not paid for a copy. I was given one specifically for promotion. At no point have they ever asked, and I think it would be highly unlikely for them to ask for me to say anything. The only reason I say highly unlikely is because I cannot predict the future. I've not been asked to say anything about the game. Occasionally, people will say don't show certain parts of the game because they're not ready yet. That hasn't come up. And actually, there's only one company that has ever said something very specific for me to say. And I actually, during the copy, which I'm sure is probably not what they wanted me to do, I said, such and such a company told me to say this. Actually, screw it. It was Project Red or GOG, and depending on the case. So that's the only time I've really sort of been asked to say something, and I think being upfront with that is important. But of course, I am very, very enthusiastic about this game. Oddly enough, I feel a little more self-conscious about these kinds of disclaimers for games that I'm hugely enthusiastic about, because in the end, I suspect a game that I'm more enthusiastic about might prompt someone to kind of go over the edge and buy it, rather than one where I'm maybe more lukewarm, or I sort of, for whatever reason, don't wind up playing as repeatedly or enthusiastically. Although I'm kind of lucky in that I've really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that I've played. The other disclosure that's probably relevant towards your purchase decisions is the fact that I am still a member of the Epic affiliate program. That will be going away next month. I looked at the dates again, so there's probably only a couple more weeks where you're able to do that. But I do currently have an affiliate link, and it is currently an Epic exclusive. It's a temporary or timed Epic exclusive. I believe this game does have a Steam page and no official release date for Steam, but I believe it is their plan to release it on more than just the Epic Store. But of course, the fact that there is a game which is currently only available through that storefront also means that perhaps I have a financial interest in terms of getting as many people as possible to buy the game using that affiliate link. If you have another broadcaster that you want to support through those links, or if you just simply want to have the money go towards Brace Yourself, that is totally fine. I also don't need to tell you that's fine. I put it there so that people who wanted to credit the stream with the sale could, and to sort of earn a little revenue off of purchases that hopefully would have already happened or ones that I had a role in bringing about. If you do decide to do it, you can type in System Chalk at checkout, just below the cash out. I don't know what happens when I'm. I don't know. Actually, I don't actually know what happens after I sign out. I'm assuming I'll just not be on the list, and hopefully you won't be able to misattribute it to me. But again, that's all of the financial stuff out of the way, which I always feel a little awkward saying, but I shouldn't let awkwardness get in the way of doing the appropriate thing. So, this month's update, this is the last day in March that we'll be playing Phantom Brigade, most likely. I've not yet encountered the ultra-heavy weapons. We have seen the turret enemy units, and they actually added a little bit more than I thought that they would. They're different from what I thought for sure. Melee and dash improvements, there are a ton here. Melee is really, really fun to use right now, and my current melee unit is very powerful, it turns out. Primary missile launchers, those things are a bit of a conundrum. New combat areas, I actually think we ran into one of those at the end of last week's stream. That was really fun, and while I maybe don't directly see the improved physics, I am not going to lie, like, this game just keeps getting better and better, and I had a fantastic time last week, so that's why the stream title's just more, because that was exactly what was added inside of Arsenal 2. Next month, we get to look forward to energy weapons. For those of you who got to see the first sort of trailer for this game, there is a big, mighty energy weapon that just... It's a bit of a highlight. So I'm assuming we'll wind up seeing those. More melee improvements, which I'm intrigued by. I'm curious what they wind up doing there. And then more enemy variants, although I've certainly been sort of running from the bad guys in a few cases, so whether or not I want to see the enemies get stronger is another question. Sometimes it's fun to just beat the pants off of the computer. And then things slow down a little bit in May. It's going to be Quality of Life 2. Now, Quality of Life is not just something that you sort of throw away, right? It's really easy to point to. It's like, yeah, you got the atomic bomb, and that's the one that everybody points to as to the big feature, but I have gotten the impression from some people that this game is a little difficult to learn, and I feel like I'm sort of... I feel like I'm a little bit trained to like and just sort of be in sync with games like this. And, I mean, maybe I'm just screwing it up. Where's my base? There it is. Actually, that's one thing I might want to point out. But yeah, the like it took me a little bit on the tutorial, I'll admit, when I I played it for the very first time. But like generally, I kind of get the game now. But I've sort of wondered whether or not it would be good to sit down and do some kind of a tutorial series just to try and help people get in, because I find this game tremendously enjoyable, but I can also sort of see how there might be a few details that really kind of push people away from the game in terms of interface details, just in terms of what you might expect to happen relative to the actions that you take. So as always, if you have this game and you've been wanting, or you're thinking about getting this game, but there are some parts that are maybe a little opaque for you, do feel free to bring it up in chat, because I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I have a decent grip on how the game works, but I don't want that to become an impediment from people being able to enjoy it early, because of course the earlier people play and enjoy it, the sooner they can give feedback, and ultimately the better game we get in the release version. I'm just going to have a bite of my dinner, and then we'll move on to the camp. I'm not sure I should be crossing into the capital. I'm curious what happens. Well, they haven't murdered us at the border yet. I'm kind of curious if I just charge the capital city, but it does say, at least in text, that I can't do anything to it. Okay. So on our way to Monument 114, a small army encampment that sends out patrols, attacking the camp may alert nearby squads, but eliminating all unit groups in the area before reinforcements will allow for a safe retreat and salvaging. Hit and run. Alright. Now, it didn't look like we had any new items, but I'm going to take a minute here and just look at the Hermes and see if there's any new toys to play with. None that are marked, so you know what? I did take a little bit... I did take a little bit in terms of talking when I got started, so let's just jump into it right away. They still out-level us here, but I've got a reasonably strong squad. The reason why I'm not a higher level is because some of the gear that I want is there. IFF response negative, treating as hostile. Request immediate reinforcements. Alright. I'm just going to have a couple more bites, because I'm going to be talking a lot, and we're going to try and clobber these guys. Sorry, like I said, I just was finishing a little dinner. All right. So there's one thing I want to test with the Sleipnir right now. This is a risky test, but I knew that there would be an attack coming in. Now, the good news for us is that the enemy that we're coming after it's just a sniper rifle. So they either need to use their sidearm, which is a heavy handgun. Those things do pack a punch, by the way, so I need to be careful about that. But either I want to take that thing out before it attacks my unit, my Sleipnir, which it more or less does. They get like one shot off right at the time of impact. The other thing I want to test with this is what happens when I collide during the attack with the tank. My suspicion is that C. McLaugh. It's a very happy Monday. Thank you very much for renewing your subscription yet again. I believe that's 3 months. Sorry, I took a mouthful. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just started the stream later and had the dinner, but anyways, thank you very much for renewing your subscription. I believe that's 3 months. I appreciate you continuing to support the broadcast. And more importantly, I'm really happy that you're here to see some more Phantom Brigade, because this is really one of my favorite games of the last little while. So yeah, I think what's going to happen here is the Sleipnir is going to trip over the tank and it's going to take half a turn to recover. That's going to suck, by the way, but this is probably one of the safer environments in which I can learn that lesson. So I'm going to like burn my hand on the stove now. I'm going to learn the lesson, and we'll see if there's anything else I can take away from it when okay, that's already too much. I'm going to try and move around the side. Excuse me. So the problem with this approach is that this tank wants me. So what if I just change the move to be something like this? Okay, so there's no collision that happens. and I get to dodge the attack. That works out pretty well for me, actually. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'm going to move on the chance that that works. Well, actually, you know what? I'll move forward, and then I'll see if I can get a second round in with the tank. If I can get away with a second round on the tank, I'm gonna hit control just for the other side. So much the better for me. Again, there's tripping potential here. Ooh, let's just wait that out a little bit. Alright, so technically I wind up finishing that at the end of the turn, but I'm okay with the weight on it. I'm glad that comes across, excuse me, because sometimes I can be a little stoic for some game. Probably not Phantom Brigade, but I do sometimes feel like the stoicism in certain games does create a problem so far as like communicating my enthusiasm. Alright, I think I just... yeah. So if I want to go in for the shot with the... well, no, I have other alternatives. Excuse me. I mean, peeking my head up is still a little bit of a risk, so let's maybe do one of these. We'll wait out the last little touch. I mean, the angles aren't great, but they're better than the alternatives. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, strategy games are definitely like my kind of thing. And I feel like for a while I've had a reputation for, you know, for playing these kinds of games and enjoying them, if not being good at them. I always find the idea of like being good at games as a really weird one, because it's, you know, let's be honest, like if you're having a good time playing it, you're doing it right, and if you're not enjoying yourself, you know, that's really where the problems lie. But I also sort of understand that when it comes to strategy, because they are games that can sometimes have these really, you know, these really difficult to parse interfaces, or maybe they have a lot of rules. It can sometimes give rise to this idea that there's like a certain class of play, like, you know, these magical games that, you know, a bunch of nerds seem to play are, you know, you have to be a certain type of person to really get something out of them. And it's actually why I like Phantom Brigade, and particularly the way the game presents itself, because I think this game doesn't ask a lot of you in terms of just understanding how it goes, right? So what are the things that my mechs can do? Well, I can move, I can dash, I can attack, I have my secondary, I'll say primary and secondary action, and I can eject. And then I can wait. So, you know, six individual actions that any given mech can take. There's perfect knowledge of what the enemy is going to do. So to a certain extent, to just be able to get stuff done, I'm really worried that I'm going to collide. See, I don't want to collide. I don't want to collide with my lance, but I also don't want to get nailed by a stray shot. So the number of things that you need to understand how to do in this game is relatively small, and really all of the fun and the experience kind of comes from how do you navigate these increasingly challenging scenarios. I'd say once you get to the strategic level, the game asks a little bit more of you, because then you need to start thinking about how you construct your mechs and such. But my hope is that, I don't know, like in general, I really do sort of hope, and this is just kind of me talking about gaming in general, but I sort of hope that more people kind of get into strategy, because it's a genre that I like very much, and obviously it's a huge genre. Like it's very hard to, to narrow it down to just one thing. Like, you know, Civilization has been a huge part of sort of my gaming life forever. And I understand that that's one that people find very, very intimidating. But obviously, Civilization is a very different game from something like Phantom Brigade. And sometimes the fantasy is just something. Like, sometimes you want to play a big, brightly colored, you know, engine of war as opposed to playing, you know, ancient Babylon. And it's, in the end, I really feel that it's a genre that has something for everyone. But you know, you don't, whether or not that connection can get made is a question there. And I think what Phantom Brigade does very nicely is, it reminds you that you can actually be, you know, like I don't know, like just a 5-year-old who really likes monster trucks, and have that sort of energy while you're watching the, you know, the battles play out, even if you're spending some time thinking about the way that it goes through. Yeah, that's also very true. I was actually playing, so I've downloaded Dota 2 again, but I've not played it, but I was playing Apex Legends. So I've been trying to get over the idea that I don't play, and I will hit play. I do want to see, how the dash turns out. So I want to finish the thought before I do that. But I will confess, like, it's taken a while for me to get back into any kind of competitive multiplayer, especially one with teams. So I was trying Apex Legends, which was very enjoyable. I did tweet about it, though, because there was one moment where I was like, okay, this is why I don't play competitive games on that require teams. But it was very minor. It was just like there's some, you know, kid coming on all comms when they went. Now, in fairness, I was down. Like, you know, as part of the engagement, I was sort of the first to fall. But it was actually the first win. I think it was like the 6th game or something like that I'd played. So I'm definitely the newest on the team. I think I'm like level 6. I'm say level 6 because I seem to get a lot of experience. So I think I'm level 6 and like everybody else is level 20 or 30 or whatever. And like just this kid kind of comes on. Like you can tell that they're very young from the name. But like as soon as the battle's over, they announce to the team over voice comms, "I won," and I'm like, "Okay, right. This is how it goes." But it's occurred to me that really, like, that's the longest that a game of Apex Legends is going to last, and that was about 11 minutes long. And I can remember just these meat grinders of Dota games that went on for like an hour or more, and it was just miserable. So, anyways. I should get on with the action. So the real thing I want to see here is whether or not I trip over the tank still. I'm sure that would be somewhere in the patch notes, but I did just say part of the fun of this game is seeing all the big mechs do their thing. So we'll empirically test it. Okay, so we know this fella's gonna take a spill. He'll probably get a shot off and some damage, but oh, never mind. And what happens with the tank? We do crash over it. Okay, that's gonna make things inconvenient for the rest of my team. Now, it does mean that I'm just trying to think whose shots this might hurt. Oh, we're gonna get hit by the shotgun probably. Oh no, we got lucky. That was a really bad spot to fall now that I think of it. But the sniper rifle is down. Hopefully the fact that the Sleipnir will be on the ground will save it from the sniper shot that's about to come hit them. Oh, it looks like they shot wide anyway. Oh, good lord. I like that my guy's getting up, but this is really scary to look at. Ouch. Alright, you gotta get out of there, my friend. So I'm probably gonna still get hit by the sniper rifle, but I'll live with what I've been given. Now, the biggest problem right here is that my assault rifle is just simply too close to its target. But it definitely doesn't hurt to have to have some shots to the back of the enemy units. So, what are they targeting? Huh. Interesting. Strategy games also require to think, which, to be honest, just isn't what you're looking for after a long, hard day. Just shooting something can be more appealing. Yeah, well, actually, see, this is the funny thing, because, like, when I play... So, even in Apex, but definitely in things like, you know, Battlefield 5 is probably one of the games that I've put more, you know, more time into. Like, I am definitely... Now, I guess in terms of Battlefield, like, you can sort of explain that because there's a pretty heavy strategic component to those maps. But basically, I sort of feel that... like, whenever I am playing a shooter, I'm still generally thinking a lot about, you know, where the enemy's going to come from, where the resources are, you know, if it's something, you know, like an old deathmatch style game, you know, where am I going to get well, I guess it's not even old deathmatch, like Battle Royale. I don't play a lot of Battle Royales, but, like, even then, you're still thinking of where, you know, where you're going to get the things that you need, for starters. And I don't know, like, I tend to find I think a lot in any game, but you're absolutely right. Like, there's definitely a lot of very fast feedback, and like, you'll sort of know what you're up against almost instantaneously in a lot of more action oriented games. So you're right that there's that feeling. This is one of the things actually where I think there's sometimes a marketing problem with strategy games, because there's something very appealing about playing something that makes you feel smart. You know, the same way that you'll watch some YouTube channels, or you'll sometimes watch some shows, and they're maybe not even... Ostensibly they seem about education, but really what they're about is about making sure that you are being reinforced with what you already think, and it just happens to be presented in a way that lets you feel like you're very clever. This can actually be kind of helpful in an educational context as well. But you get the idea, right? Like, it's you know, a form of entertainment, and that particular form of entertainment is designed to make you feel smart. And 100%, that is probably what's happening. I mean, let's face it, I like it in strategy games where it all comes together, and I get to feel particularly clever in my approach. But I will confess, I sometimes think, you know, if it creates this culture, which sometimes happens with strategy games, sort of lol, this thing is for smart people, you're absolutely right. Like, there can be the challenge of, you know, sort of feeling like it takes a lot out of you when, you know, it's really no more of a cognitive burden than any other game. Although, with that in mind, if I'm going to play like a card-based, like, solitaire style game, or even a competitive card game, like, I don't really play Hearthstone, but I suspect there's probably a bit of thinking involved in that. Anyways, I'll focus on Phantom Brigade. So I kind of changed the Hermes positioning because I was a little worried that they might get hit by a stray sniper shot. I am very interested in what happens to the Hermes here. Hopefully I don't take out my own guy. I do. I thought I slowed things down, but needless to say, we got a lot done that turn. So the Hermes is going to need some time to itself. Oh, well, this guy's getting ready to surrender. So I think we will just set ourselves up for when the bad guys show up. So one thing I'm a little cautious about in terms of this placement. By the way, one thing I love about this game, which I don't think I appreciate enough, I have been on this map 4 or 5 different times, and I've never recognized that it's the same map that I think it is. And BattleTech does this really well as well. You prefer to have me do the heavy thinking and you can just relax and enjoy your labor. Well, that's great. This is a proper division of responsibilities, actually, because I've been told, like, there's 2 games where I hear this a lot. And again, I don't mean to sound full of myself on this. There's lots of other broadcasters who probably do this better than I do. But I've been told that people like it when I play strategy games because they feel that it's a type of game that they can appreciate vicariously through me without necessarily having to overcome whatever sort of hang-ups they have about that genre. And I say this as somebody who's kind of coming back into like competitive online games. So I have nothing but sympathy and respect for the idea of having a style of game that you feel a little anxious to try and take on. And the other one is horror games. For some reason, I don't really seem to be wired in such a way to have really extreme reactions during horror games. So my more stoic demeanor over the course of a horror game is apparently very reassuring, and as a result, it makes the experience a little less nerve-wracking. So I'm running back to the city here, one, because I'm kind of familiar with the layout. Now, the one problem I have with this is that it's possible that the enemy units are going to land somewhere around here, or, even here. Those are all potential problems. And the reason those are problems... Oh, I want to collide with my own people. The problem is simply that I don't, even with the sniper rifle, I really don't have great access to that part of the map. And one of the big advantages, well, I guess they got rid of the fact that I could sort of shoot people on the first turn, so it's not that big of a, I guess it's not that big of a disadvantage anymore. But I don't know where the enemy's coming. I'm going to set up sort of a welcome party in a reasonably well-defended position. But I mean, if you think of it, right, if you wanted to try and take this, if you knew the enemy would be here, if you knew that they would be in that town, like, where would you want to approach? Well, probably from right behind it, actually. But, like this spot over here has lots of sort of hills to cover you in terms of the sniping. I'm moving my heavier unit, the Lance, behind the hill over here. One for defense, but also because they're the slowest movers, so they can. The closer to the middle of the map they are, the more likely it is that I'm going to be able to get them in on the action early. I just really don't know what I'm going to be up against. So we'll try our best. We'll see what comes up, but we'll leave it be. Oh, did this thing? No, they're surrendering now. Rebel units eliminated the garrison, requiring tactical relocation for a better approach vector. So this was this was definitely a moment where I had to learn some things the last time. The first time I ran into a mission like this was the first time we lost a pilot. It was also where I learned that my Lance with the old shotgun was the most powerful unit I had because they wiped out everything else solo. But yeah, so in this case, we're just going to stick in, but it has historically been the case that the reinforcements are very tough, and it's actually one of the changes I liked the most about the some of these updates, because I always sort of felt that the hit and run missions were a little... Like, I didn't really feel very motivated to do the run part because the loot wouldn't be as good. As soon as the enemies were very powerful and things that were a very credible threat against my my units, that was the point where I was like, okay, I really need to consider retreat. Here, I'm obviously not going to. We're just going to wait out the timer. But I really liked the fact that the game, like basically the game got harder, and I liked how that was handled, because in the end, it gave me a choice. It gave me sort of the risk reward of, the enemy is stronger, and you're making a choice as to whether or not you got the Sierra 2 on the field. What's taking you so long? Surround them and finish them off. So 8 new contacts. But yeah, basically I've sort of committed to saying I want the big reward. But now, where I previously had 2 enemies, I'm now going to have to contend with 8, and 8 that I can't just shoot out of the air like I used to. And I'm still feeling okay about the overall situation, and this is for the simple reason that part of my risk assessment was how quickly I got rid of the initial group. So I've more or less got a fresh squad ready to take on, 8. If it turns out that this was a little bit better defended, and I'm still fighting the original garrison with the risk that the reinforcements might be coming in. Well, now I've started to lose some armor. My heat's probably going to be up by the time that the new units arrive. There's a lot of things that I need to keep in mind that will make it appealing to retreat instead. But this is probably, other than the fact that my my Sleipnir took some hits from friendly fire, this is probably about as ideal of a circumstance as I'll be facing this force. So we're gonna run with it. But it would be nice to see where they arrive. Oh, good lord, they have us surrounded. But it looks like it's all tanks, and that's gonna be fun. So one thing I am going to verify is that I can't actually attack these things on the battlefield. Yeah, so I need to wait for the next turn to find out what they are and what they can do. But this does give me a chance with all of my other units to position myself appropriately. So they don't really fit in the ring of death here. That might hit a building. It's about as good as I'm gonna get. Usually I regret putting this guy on rooftops, but it's fun. Sometimes I just have to live my fantasies. I have a little bit less to fear from heights. I think I am gonna run and face them head on, though. I think this is gonna be the group that I'm a little bit more conscious of. I'm gonna move the lance forward. I'm actually going to dash just so I can get a little extra distance here. And the idea is they can use their shield, or they can just sort of barrel over all of the bad guys. And because I got the Sleipnir running in, sort of taking out all of these guys, I want the Hermes to sort of join in and be able to give some support. So the majority of my... Actually, the funny thing is it's 2-on-2, because it's not like my sniper's going to be able to turn around. They might be able to take out the unit over here. But as a whole, the lance is definitely committed. My sniper's going to have more opportunities on these guys. So it's really just the Sleipnir and the Hermes. And one reason why I position them here is that they can run behind buildings if things kind of don't go their way. But we'll see how it goes. It does look a little weird to just have them sort of stare each other down at the end of the turn. All right, what are we up against here? A bunch of cannon. Okay. So these things are most effective at long range. So what is interesting, the unit that hates my Sleipnir the most is Okay, so they're in striking range. And I think I get away with murder by being behind here, but let's see if I can angle my strike even better. I don't want to have a collision, obviously, but okay, yeah, that doesn't work. We already learned the lesson about what happens if we try and tread over. I suspect if the mech was a little bit heavier, I'd be able to pull off moves like that, but for now, I think I have to live with the... Okay, so this one I don't think works anymore because of that attack. It might be the case that I can, that I shoot over the head of the Sleipnir. The way that the angles work there is it goes from base to base, so it is going to be higher than where the shots actually happen, but I still think it's entirely possible I clip the head of my own unit, and that's too much of a risk in the current situation. So the next question is, at what point does that attack come and hit me? So it's around the 1.8 second mark, so I don't even think I can get a full set of shots off before... Yep. Okay, well, I mean, that's a shame. It's the risk I run by doing these kinds of rooftop moves, but it's not the end of the world either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that they waste their shots trying to get me. That's not wasting, that's doing their job for them. So let's try moving them down. That's not going to work. Oh, I get what happened. Okay, so I got to walk a little. Oh, I can't walk a little bit. Yeah, see, the problem is that totally neutralizes my sniper. But you know what? I think I'm going to live with that. We'll get them involved when they can. So let's see what else the Sleipnir can get up to. The first question is, when are they free to do another strike? So if I send them right away, that's a lot of heat. I can move them, but I also want to see if I can get away with just a shorter wait. Yep, that works. Okay, so here's the plan. So we do attack number 1, that gets rid of the threat to the Sleipnir. We kind of wait it out. The cannon fire sort of bounces harmlessly off the hill. Sleipnir comes in for attack number 2. And that frees up the Hermes. So the first thing I'm going to do with the Hermes, I wonder if I can get away with that. Yep, it finishes before the Sleipnir does its thing. So then if I run around the corner, okay, good. Oh, but then I didn't... Yeah, I messed it up. Okay, so I guess I gotta do this. I might get tagged just at the end there. Okay, so we'll wait out the attacks. Wait, that can't be right. Okay. And really at this point this is just me taking whatever attacks I can on targets of opportunity. And I don't think I have the heat for the rest of the turn there. Okay, so basically that's sort of, I've maximized the use of my 2 units here. At some point I'm going to need to figure out what I want to do with the Sleipnir next turn, but right now I just want them to cool off the heat. We haven't actually taken out any of the units yet, but hopefully we've crippled them enough that we're going to be able to do some easy cleanup at the end. Now what I want to do is reconsider what's going to be attacking my sniper and at what points. Yeah, so they're kind of still out for blood. There might be something that I can do at the end there, but I'll sort of have to think about it a little bit. This is sort of public enemy number 1 as far as freeing up my sniper. So the first most obvious thing for me to do is to throw up a shield. Actually, this works great, so... So, as far as, like, getting what I need done, it's pretty ineffective because they still get their shots off on the sniper. But this does more or less sweep up all of the tanks into one place, which is really easy to start blasting with a shotgun next turn. So let's get the appropriate angle and we'll watch this in slow motion. Okay, good. I was gonna say, why didn't that take him out? So they should be crashing. I'm keeping an eye on the fellow back there. So remembering, this was the one that was threatening the Sleipnir. Okay, so he's down. Let's see whether or not my Hermes did get tagged. Actually, that was a pretty nasty one on the legs. We're gonna get ready to start on this guy. They look reasonably safe, but... That's crashing. That didn't take out any tracks, though. So anyways, this fellow's crashing. This fellow's about to... No, this fellow's going to stay still. This fellow's about to crash, though. And sadly, I'm targeting the wrong unit. My melee unit is a bit stronger than I give them credit for. Alright. Oh, they successfully took out that wall. Okay, that's a bit of a worry, but it looks like my sniper isn't being targeted by anything now, which means that they can start contributing to the fight a little bit more meaningfully. So if I put them up on a roof, and I want to get them to rain down... that's not a great angle for them because of the building. So maybe I don't need to get fancy, maybe I just move up the side of this side street. Do the long... Yeah, so they're going to crash out for a little while. So does anybody target the Sleipnir? Yes, and actually it's the least convenient one too. So first things first, this is a bit risky what I'm doing, but I'm going to do an attack on this. Oh, I can't because it's too hot. All right. That changes things a bit. still too hot. So this is the point where I might want to consider escape routes. I mean, it's not great, but it'll give me a little bit of cover as I, as I deal with the attack. So then the question is, do they attack anybody? No, there's only one attack that comes after them. That's good to know. Okay, so the turn's starting to take shape. There's a lot of fire on the Hermes. Now, the Hermes can kind of take it, but I still want to be a little cautious in terms of what's happening to them. So I'll just, move out of the way for the remaining shots. I'm actually going to move them up and behind this vehicle, mostly because I think it neutralizes the remaining attacks coming after them. Yes, and more importantly, it gives me some shots on... I'm actually going to take sort of a wild... Oh, no, I can't. I can here, though. This kind of gives me some... this gives me some... a bit of an effort to try and defend my ally. Alright, I can only get 2 of those off. So let me just make sure that the angles are right. Yeah, I should be reasonably safe. Maybe cut it a little close. Wait a minute, where'd the second one go? Feel a little safer, a bit more nestled among the buildings. Especially because it's not like the Sleipnirs completely suppress this turn. As soon as we get to the 3.5 second mark, they're basically a free agent. So, well, no, they're being targeted by the sniper, so it's possible they'll be taken out. Let's change it so that I attack them from the other side. Yeah, and that leaves me open next turn to escape if things get tough. So with that in mind, with the sniper, let's actually get a second round. It might be wasting the unit, but it's sort of my most likely it's my most likely attack, so I think that is the main squad taken care of. Now the remaining is sort of, what am I going to do with my, with my lance that was causing so much trouble before? One is to sort of stomp all over the final unit that's not able to, or the final unit that's in the way. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it up a little bit. Now, you know what? I'm just going to go... I think it's best to just crash into this guy and... fire my shotgun with abandon. Okay, so that doesn't actually seem to count as a... That doesn't actually seem to count as a collision, which I'm kind of interested in. So it's going to be the same turn. It's basically just going to be stomping all over the tanks because they're looking at me funny. I think I'm actually going to watch what happens here first. Okay, so that's some meaningful damage that I'm getting hit by. So that guy is crashing. I probably timed this all wrong so that, yeah, so I'm defending against attacks that aren't happening and I'm attacking while while nobody's coming after me. Alright, so they'll crash out, but I don't think that's quite gonna finish the job for us. Now what I am interested in here is to see just how many of these guys we can take out. The biggest thing about the Lance right now is to keep these guys off my back. Yeah, I could not have timed that better as far as making it worthwhile for them to hurt me. Okay, that's good. That thing's fixed in place now. I think my shield's finally doing its job, so I made at least one worthwhile move. And we did take out... Oop. I think that was a rather unnecessary one. Okay, so we're in a really good spot as far as these tanks are concerned. So this guy's still going to be crashing out. We might actually be able to get away. They may surrender. So I'm going to take a small risk and not finish the job on them. Instead, what I'm going to do is... Now, usually when this happens, I wind up taking damage because they want to take it to the bitter end. But that's life. So I'm going to take a little bit of heat damage as a result, and potentially the cannon as well, but I'll just put myself behind the building. The question is, do I... Okay, so I am still targeted after... So I think in this case I'll just wait behind the building, which is looking a little rough right now. But this is the point now where the rest of the Phantoms are going to start focusing on this side of the map. We were sort of able to take out this group. This unit, in the worst case scenario, they don't... oh, hang on. I attacked the wrong unit. Alright, looks like I am going to have to... I'm going to have at least one unit that stays and tries to clean up. So, now I get to take advantage of the height. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I can do a little better. Angles don't quite work there. Alright, so this is to try and get some of the heat off of the behemoth. So once that strike comes in, the behemoth is ready to... Well, the question is, what is the behemoth going to do this round? Because they also need time to set up. I think I'm still going to keep them... I think I'm going to keep them in their defensive position for starters. However, there are things that I can do with my... I'm wondering if something got messed up with the Hermes and one of its attacks is being taken later than it normally would have. Anyways, one way or the other. Let's make sure they don't collide. No, we're good. I wonder if I can get away with... It's going to be close, but I think it might work. Anyways, 2 rounds on these guys, and then... Oops. We're gonna run in where the rest of the action is. Again, the Hermes is sort of one of my most versatile units just because of how fast it can move. The ability to get it, to get it where it needs to be is a huge advantage, especially given that it has the assault rifle, which itself is a pretty versatile weapon. Okay, now the question is, who's attacking what? I'm assuming everybody. It's party time on the lance. So actually, what I'm going to do here is pretty simple. So I'm going to set up a defense. I'm just going to walk myself right into the. I'm going to walk myself right into the wall here. I do wish I knew who I was targeting with this thing. But the worst of it is at the end. Yeah, I'm going to set up. So this is admittedly a weird turn that I'm setting up. It's just because I'm not 100% sure who I'm defending against for the first little bits. So I'm setting myself up so that my back is against the wall here. My shield is set up, just bracing all of the attacks. And then at the very end, when I know everything is done shooting at me, I'm going to take some shots at the closest available unit. And because it's big dramatic music, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one in slow motion again. Although there's not as much to see. Okay, so we're really looking here for the shield to go up and focus on the enemy. Yeah, I'm still getting hit in the back. This turned into something good, though. This Goliath just sitting there, taking 3 tanks worth of shells. You can lose. I think you sometimes get the parts back potentially, but you can definitely lose pilots. And I don't know what the status is going to be in terms of losing mechs in battle, in terms of losing parts. I feel like that's something I should maybe check in the... Oh. It's a little less dramatic of a turn than I thought, but it's going to get exciting in a second. Okay, so it's all bouncing off the shield, which is what it's supposed to do. So that Q would have worked a little bit better if it came in just as the shotgun and the blade happened at the same time. That Q actually turned out pretty well. Okay, so in this case, the prediction was not a bad one. They are surrendering, so we don't need to worry about them anymore. Sniper can now get in position and basically let him have it uninterrupted. So what's nice here is we know they're not going to surrender because we can just see them tip over to the next turn. So this is a perfectly legit target for the sniper rifle. I don't think I can fit anything else into the turn. I'm sorry, that was kind of a half answer to your question, C. McLeod, but honestly, I think the most honest answer I can give is I don't know. It seems like... So in the BattleTech game, which I should be a little careful in terms of doing comparisons because these are very different games, but in BattleTech, it was very easy to lose gear, arguably frustratingly easy to lose gear. And in the case of Phantom Brigade, I can sort of see it working both ways, where if you do lose a part, you lose... You know, if you lose a part in a battle, you lose the... like, you have to get a replacement in future. But I can also see it working where... I can also sort of see it working where you just repair what you already have, and the loss of the pilot is the thing that makes you want to keep your unit safe. Okay, so again, this is just to impose crashes on the enemy. What's nice here is that I have a pretty good idea of who's going to be targeting the lance. So we take out the two that are going to be targeting first. I need to make sure that I have defenses up for... Oh, they're going after the Sleipnir, actually, so I'm pretty safe once all that's done. I think I'm going to move the lance to a slightly better position. I might wind up taking some enemy units with me. Okay. So this unit's going to be targeting the Sleipnir, so ideally I'm going to be able to get them out of the way. My intention here is to... Wow! Oh, but they don't have the... Okay. So I'm going to run them in and... well, run her in. So the plan on this one is... This is partly to defend the Sleipnir. It's also partly to... Oh, drat. Alright. It was partly to defend the Hermes, but looks like I'm actually not going to get there in time. Okay, so I'm going to take the Hermes and run them around the side. I'll just wait out the... That's waiting longer than I need to, but I don't have a more granular time control on that. So again, it's very unlikely that they're actually going to be where they say they are on the timeline, given that my melee unit is attacking them. So I'm going to get the Sleipnir to take the long way around. Actually... I guess this is the safest place I can put them. Okay, again, the music for this is really good, so... Oh, he's already down! Trying to get the angle so we can see the whole brigade do their thing. Bonk. Oh, that's a great spot for the Hermes. Alright, so I screwed that up. I'm really going to town on this building, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything to the enemy unit. Okay, he's done. All right, I should probably start noticing this noting this a little bit more, because it seems like this attack is. It seems like this attack was communicated at the end of last turn, but it's happening now, and that's happened a couple. That's happened a couple of times, so I want to be careful about it. One other detail that actually, this might be. I think this is a bug, but it's kind of an awesome one. So look at that smoke, where it's forming this nice long column all the way to... Like, one of the things I really like about this is you just get to see the complete transformation of the battlefield over the course of the fight. It's a really nice touch. And you're right, the music swells are great. The music in this is great. Everything about this game is really great. You know, I'm going to take this as a screenshot. But yeah, like, it's really neat, especially when you've got missiles flying and things like that. You'll see the streaks kind of running across the battlefield, and it just really sells you on the game, on sort of the world that this game's created. Okay, so we've got surrender. They're gonna keep bullying our people, so I've got a fellow with a shotgun who's got an opinion about that. A lady with a shotgun who's got an opinion about that. I won't cross it over into the next turn. We can wait. All right, so who are they attacking? Right, there was one coming after the Sleipnir, and then there was one that's right, yeah. So the whole reason I moved the Sleipnir behind this... okay. That is definitely something... I can't really... Like, all I could really do in terms of reporting the bug would be pointing it out right now, like on a video, because I haven't quite been able to get a proper read on what the exact nature of the problem is. I think I'm gonna dash here. This is gonna see... Oh, I can't afford to. Okay, maybe I can afford to run. Well, one way or the other, I'll find out. But yeah, like, the only thing is right now, all I can really say is that, you know, there was one thing in the timeline and it seems to have played out differently. And while video evidence is okay for it, I'm not really able to sort of communicate the exact circumstances under which these oddities have happened. I also see the Phantom Brigade bugs and feedback section seems to be pretty active. So I should maybe see if that's been reported already, but that's definitely one I want to follow up on. All right, so this is basically the Phantoms bullying a single tank. Sleipnir's not doing anything, but... Actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm just going to make a quick note here. So this is the first mission of the night. But I think I'm just going to say 1 hour, 13 minutes. I'm going to see if I can find some highlights that I can put in. Or not highlight, but like I'll see if I can maybe make some timestamps that people can take a look at and see if it's a bug or if it's just me freaking out. Okay, 60-second battle, 3,253 damage taken. Maybe the majority came from the enemy, but I definitely know a reasonable amount of that was friendly fire. 15,634 damage inflicted, 125 actions planned, 2,164 meters traveled, 7 units destroyed, 327 supplies detected on site. Really? Okay, well, we'll salvage it. So one nice feature that was added, I think this is a quality of life update, it's automatic repair now. So again, I'm not 100% sure how fully destroyed mechs are handled, because we only had that happen once, and there were other issues that stopped me from being able to sort of continue that. So I'm not 100% sure on how that's going to work out. But we've detected an encoded signal emanating from somewhere in the province. We could probably decode this if you think it's worth the trouble, says one of your pilots, but we'll need to stop and try Excuse me. Stop and triangulate the source of the signal. Stop the base and decode the signal. We're still salvaging, so there's really no cost to doing that. Ooh, convoy. Sorry, my mouth is full. There's a whooping of victory from one of your pilots. You and your squad gather around her, bathed in the glow of the blue screen she sits in front of. Which is kind of weird given the picture. I mean, it's obviously the picture is used for other things too, but I always wonder why there's no blue in this photo. I think I've done it, she says. She looks back to you. Take a look, boss. Looks like we got ourselves a defector. Is that right? Says the pilot beside you. Yep, and they say they got some valuable intel for us. Could be bogus, but if this intel really is valuable... ... Okay, so that's the radio station. Oh, no, come back. Oh, hang on. They're running away. I mean, that convoy is not trivial, right? The other things, like, that's 5 levels above the hardest thing I'll be facing inside of the region. There is a side of me that would prefer to kind of follow sort of city, farm, army base. I think I'll do the radio station just for starters. Let's see if we can chase down the oh, there's more than one convoy. It's gonna get exciting. Attack! A hostile squad is passing nearby. Our base is now within their sensor range, so moving would reveal our position, but we have the upper hand for now. If we're not prepared to face the enemy, we may be able to execute an emergency retreat, but now could be a good time to strike. So this is a convoy raid. This is definitely going to be hard. A mobile squad that transports valuable parts and subsystems to frontline units and between locations. Often heavily defended, retreating with assets rather than eliminating all units is recommended. Alright, let's start by seeing whether or not there's anything worthwhile. So see, there's 2 items, so that means that it was lying to me. Oh, maybe it's not, because it's the heavy hand. Yes, the heavy handgun on both. Well, I do actually use a handgun on this one, so they've got the fire starter right now. We can compare that with the granite. So it says the base damage is lower. The only thing I don't like about it is its range, actually. So under normal circumstances, I would take this weapon. The problem that I have is that you look at the optimal range here of 24 to 36 compared to the 48-63. Then we compare that with my current primary weapon, which is a 33 to 54. And there's lots of times where 33 is too close, given where the Hermes is. And again, part of that is just out of how its mobility works. So this is a sidearm with a longer minimum range than my primary weapon. It just doesn't make any sense for me to be packing this thing. Now it might have a home on my sniper though. But then I'd have to give up the missile launch. I keep forgetting that what I should have been doing with the behemoth was not just sitting and hiding. I should have been launching missiles. And sorry, I'm going to take a quick second before I do my initial moves. I'm going to take like a few big bites of dinner just so I'm not picking away at it for the majority of the evening. Code red. Ah! Hostile unit contact, etc., etc. Wow! Okay. And I think this music is the "you're losing" music. Couldn't have dropped us anywhere safer, huh? So what are these things packing? Cannon... Okay. Cannon galore. Oh boy. A starburst missile launcher. Oh, good God. Oh, wow. Okay, and a heavy machine gun. Well, I chose an exciting encounter. What's the Sleipnir up against? Okay, it actually looks like a lot of people really hate them. So I'm just gonna go full hero mode on this unit. As the bullets start flying. Okay, so we run in. I can't stop the whole starburst pattern, but I can at least give it sort of an initial run. And part of this is just me trying to minimize the damage that I'm going to be taking. I don't think I can get away with a second primary attack so quickly after the first. Or maybe I want to, just so I can get the, you know, just so I can get the distance. Like I just accept the damage and now see, that doesn't work because I hit one. Okay, so if I do that, it does let me get to the second location. The question is whether or not I can defend it for the 2 turns. It's very unlikely I can, but I am actually gonna go. I'm gonna go for the long shots here. So here I'm going to sort of dash to safety. There's really only one other unit that comes after me otherwise, so I'm going to... oh, nope, that's the big one actually. That's the machine gun. So that's fine because the rest of my turn can be spent lobbing missiles at the deserving. Oh, no it can't because it's too hot. Alright. That gives me something to think about. Dr. Frankenvinder, that's great to have you back, and thank you very much for resubscribing. I hope you are doing well. I'm just going to take a minute here and set myself up for some defenses. So the dilemma with the lance is always that it's just a slow mover. It's tough, but okay. So we'll try and set up. Health is pretty important in this encounter, so I wonder if I can get away with throwing up the shield as soon as the dash goes through. Okay, so shield's up during the attacks. It's down in time for let's try and exercise some discipline. All right, it's a start. I'm definitely going to be in a position to rain some pretty tough fire on them. Now, I guess the good bit of news is, other than the initial... Oh, wait, yeah, and it's the missiles that are coming after me. So in this case, I'm actually going to go... I'm going to attack them within... Yeah, I want to get within the range as soon as possible, and that will probably... I don't know 100% what it does to missiles when that happens, but it's at least going to give me sort of this chance to be... I guess basically to be a pain. That was too much. Okay, I'm actually going to run right up the middle. Sorry, changed my mind. I will wait. I do want to end the turn in the capture spot. Whether or not I can hold it again is another question, but problem is I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get away with another attack. Well, okay, if I do one at the start, I think if I try anything in the middle, yeah, I take heat. And I have a feeling health is going to be important. Okay, this will be interesting. So you're sick currently, plus your schedule has prevented you from being here more, but you're glad everything is going well. Ah, well, you know, we're going as well as you know, kind of circumstances permit. But I've had a pretty good. I think I've had a pretty good run of it, all told. I hope it's nothing serious that you have, Frankenvinder. Either way, you know, I never take attendance, and you know, I've been kind of doing this long enough now that there will be sort of a change in terms of even long-term viewers. It's just part of the things that one of the things that happens as you do a stream. So, but I'm always delighted. It's one of the rare pleasures is when somebody who I'm, you know, familiar with sort of was gone and comes back, particularly when I'm able to kind of connect with the name. That's always a special moment. So, all right, I gotta do this in slow-mo just to see how it all turns out, because this could turn out okay, or this could be a disaster for me. Safe. This is going to be really interesting to see how it turns out with the missiles. They are still coming after the Hermes, but I've got a dash coming up. Just a second. Yeah, not even close. The drone is a rough location of the crate, but we're going to need another ping to ensure that it's picked up. Stay at the location to finish this. Okay, so Hermes is committed to standing where it is. The good news is the person who's attacking the Sleipnir is stuck where they are, so that's going to be for the Behemoth to handle. So this turn is going to be all about the Sleipnir finding a home and waiting on it. It sucks, but I kind of got to keep it. Now, what's happening to the Hermes? Hermes is under a little more pressure. It's this unit that's going to be attacking them. So I think the Hermes has to be sort of self-reliant. They're going to be the one who's doing the attacks as soon as it's viable. By the way, remember how I picked this because of its range? Imagine what would have happened if I had that sidearm instead. So the shame here is that this is a light unit that kind of has to stand and hold the position for a turn under kind of optimal cannon fire. Unfortunately, I just don't have another answer for it. Like that's I just have to live with it. Okay, so next up, the behemoth is going to be targeted by the missile launcher. Other than that, I'm okay, actually. So I'm going to stick the behemoth up. The aim here is to try and take out... okay, this unit, which is going to be attacking the Sleipnir. I mean, I could try a second one. What does that get me? It's risky. It's risky because I'm going to be running hot, and my reply to the missile is probably going to be to dash out of the way. But I think in this case, I'm willing... Oh, that's the wrong target. Actually, you know what? What if I just fire my own missiles? I'll give them something to think about. Okay. So the other important thing for me to remember is that technically, I'm not... my units are not on their own. So these tanks aren't as helpful where they are right now. I think they can move up for sure, but I can use that difference to try and push things to my advantage. So for instance, one thing I could try and do is get that lance to get in front of the threat to the Hermes as soon as possible. So something like that. So obviously, I'm going to want to time the want to time the response a little bit better. So after the 3.7 mark. Oh, that's one. Okay. Gotta stay at least a little bit. This may be more trouble than it's worth, to be honest. Okay, so now the other main question I have is how much damage... Again, I'm going to accept some of this heat damage here because I can. It's just a chance for me to try and inflict as much hurt as I can on the things that are going to become threats next turn. Alright, let's see how this works. Oh, sorry. Nothing too serious as far as you're aware. Took a COVID rapid test and came back negative, so they decided to do the whole shebang of a test, and you're waiting on that. Well, I'm glad the news so far is pretty good. I hope everything turns out for you. And if not, at least insofar as I can be helpful or provide you a distraction from the world's, you know, all of the events in the world, I'm happy to be here as long as you're willing to have me. All right. That was totally ineffective. Also, I meant to have that in slow motion. That was very rapid. I don't really know what happened there. Okay, so we've got a lot of damage on the Hermes legs. and Foxtrot needs to sort of lose some of the concussive damage that they've been given. Okay, so it's a mixed bag as far as the Lance is concerned. The Lance has taken damage in all the places it shouldn't take damage, but as a whole, it's doing okay. Holy crap! Alright, Kilo is incapacitated, so I think that means... Man, I really wish I could see what happened last turn to cause that. Because the thing is, they weren't really attacked by anybody. I think this means I need to stand and fight, though. So yeah, I just signed myself up for a world of hurt. It also looks like there's 2 attacks that are coming after Tango. Okay, so let's... I gotta triage the threats. Oh god, I've really kind of put myself in it here. So the problem here is I'm trying to minimize the damage that the weakest units are going to be taking. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of stuff that's going to be... There's a lot of threats on the board to these units right now. Okay, if I just dash, I sort of cook. It's what I got right now. Okay, this is reasonably safe for the Hermes. It's less clear that I'm actually able to do anything that has an impact on the battle, though. I wish I could have slowed that down to see what goes by. If I lose Kilo off of that, like, I don't really like resetting just because I suffer battle losses, but if I'm not going to be able to learn from that one, this is one I'd actually be willing to reset. That's totally on me. I really thought I hit the spacebar on that. But let's, again, I'll see if I can carry this through to the end. Is it this unit that's... Yeah, so he's got a big wide open shot on me. Okay, well, you know what? In that case, I don't really need to do that second move. Well, I sort of do because... Okay, well, if I just tuck myself away then... I'm out for most of the round, but again, that's not the worst outcome, given that I'm trying to reduce the concussive damage I've taken. Okay, it's not the world's most effective run, but it's a start. So it looks like everybody hates this guy, so I'm gonna run him down. Now what I'm curious about is if I just do a dash like this, what does that get me? Well, it gets me some cannon fire. The reason I'm doing the dash is to prep myself for the missile fire. Okay, this is a little daft, but I'm actually gonna run this. And again, this is just so I can sort of spread some of the damage that gets taken out. And I do think one of my priorities right now needs to be to take out some of these mechs, because they are definitely going to be causing some serious hurt. So I sadly do not have any better options other than just to run into the... Okay, I'm going to approach this a couple ways. So one, I'm going to put up the shield for the duration of the machine gun, because there's really no other option. I think the machine gun actually outlasts my shield. Oh. So I don't think there's any room for the shotgun. Yeah, there's got to be at the end of the turn. Now, relative weights. Yeah, this guy's also a big boy, so... I might be able to get away with it if I charge into him with my shield, but... Well, I can try it. But I'd rather be... I think the better thing for me to do at the moment is to get in position for a good shotgun shot at the end of the round. Okay. Scary, scary, scary round. The real thing that I'm going to be relying on is the tanks on the road not being able to do anything. The deeper I move the encounter, the better I am. Okay, that's actually a really big win for us there. Gotta wait. So this guy's not going to be able to do the machine gun on the Lance, which means the Lance is going to be able to help the team. And looks like we avoided the starburst missiles. This guy's not crashing though, that kind of sucks. And I should have been looking at what happened to the Sleipnir, but we'll see it at the... Yeah, I got hit in the legs. Okay, there might be one that comes and hits them. Good. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Okay. This guy is gonna rock us with their missiles. I don't think anybody's gonna be bothering... it looks like nobody's gonna be bothering Kilo for the rest, so as long as we can sort of scrape ourselves off off the ground, we should be able to see it through. That's a big if, though, because unfortunately the reinforcements arrived at a spot where... So actually, I think overall what we want to be doing is we want to start moving this engagement into the woods, because there's more cover for me to be running behind. And if we can The biggest advantage that we can get right now is to take out the mechs. If we can take out the mechs, we can probably pick off the remaining units one by one. So the Sleipnir is going to wind up making a totally different set of decisions than what I had originally planned. So in this case, this is just going to be Rocket League. Okay, only one round of those. Ooh. Yeah, actually, I've got another idea. So the way I'm doing this, my hope is that we take this guy out before the machine gun has its way. But the idea is that I'm actually going to run right in front of their ally, and then at the last second, I'm going to dash away. So I'll probably wind up taking some machine gun damage off of that. In the meantime, though, there's a shotgun to the back, and in fact, I'm going to put everything into taking that guy out. Okay. So now I got to reposition the Hermes to this this new approach that we're taking, and again, the idea here is to just make these tanks useless by hiding behind cover. Of course, a nice secondary goal will be to try and put some damage on the enemy missile carrier. Okay, and then any secondary shots, ideally ones that are focused on tanks, are best. All right. Nice. So unfortunately there's some shotguns that are wasted there, but that's exactly what we needed. So I'm ignoring these missiles because it should be too close of a range, and they should basically just launch into the ground without too much worry. It's down. So again, this is me just kind of standing around looking very silly, thinking that there might be a heavy machine gun that's coming to hit me. Not relevant here. Okay, that guy's crashing, so another source of damage dealt with. You can see all the streaks from the missiles. Again, that's one of my favorite touches, just to see the shape of the battlefield as you go through. Hey, Night Valian, good to see you. This is a very, very hard mission, and I just lost my my melee unit to something that I wasn't watching, so I don't know if it's a mistake that I made or quite what happened. But I will have my vengeance. Oh, this is looking scary. Okay, so it looks like they are coming after me after all. Okay, so they are going... Okay, looks like they're targeting the Hermes with that batch. Okay, so let's just take a minute here. I gotta stop and smell the roses. So Kilo is incapacitated, but other than the legs, the mech is in salvageable shape. But what I need to think about right now, like what are we contending with? So the right arm is almost taken out on this thing. If we can get a good hit on the right arm, we take this guy out of the fight. Tank-wise, so I've got 1 immobile tank, 2 fresh, 3 fresh, 4 fresh. So that's 2 immobile, 5 fresh. All of these are, so that's 9 fresh, 2 immobile. Okay, so yeah, the plan of moving the battle into the woods that's going to be the only thing that really saves us here. So, first question I have is how can I preserve the team? So I'm not crazy about jetting into... I'm not really crazy about jetting into enemy fire, but it does get me to the cover in the shortest possible time. So I'm going to run with that. It's going to get a little crowded behind this rock, I think. I think they still have a pretty clean shot on me there. Foxtrot is a little healthier, although I'm worried about their right arm. Mind you, it's the left-hand side that's facing them. Okay, so if I were to do something like... Nope, they smash into each other. Drat. That would face the right arm. That's almost a guaranteed way for me to lose my... Okay, well, you know what? I've been taking some heat lately, so... I'm going to give my guys a little relief. I'll also try and preserve the lance a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so we step on these guys. That frees up... Ah. So the threat to the Hermes comes from that side. Okay, so that does give me a little to work with, actually. So I wonder if I can just get away with a dash. Not without cooking, so... They still get a clean shot on me over there, so but I feel like that can be resolved with a slightly better... Well... Yeah. Okay. Well, with that in mind, let's focus on the enemy then. Or better still, just don't do anything at all. Wait for the shot to finish. Nope, but then... Who's coming after me? I'm less convinced that that's actually going to hit. Okay, so... Ah, they're turning. It's very unlikely I'm going to be able to hit their right arm on that shot. It's as close as I'm going to get. The rest of this, I want to try Am I really not colliding with my own guy there? Cool. It annoys me I can't do more, but... Anyways, sorry guys, I'm really wrapped up in this Charlie Foxtrot. Night Valian is currently doing the Yakuza series. Brazilian streamer, tends to stream a little bit later than me, but somebody who I have found through other Canadian indie games, and I definitely recommend checking out. I believe he will be playing Phantom Brigade once it gets its full release. But I will leave it to him to explain what he will and will not play. Okay, so I do have some free movement for the lance. I didn't really want to move aggressively like this, but I also want to do what I can to try and get some hits on the bad guys. Although one thing I can do to make life a little more easier for me, instead of just kind of walking around the side, I can crash into this guy. Basically just go like the Terminator. Alright. Let's see how this works. So first thing we want to see is whether or not we take any damage off of the dash. Oh my god, I didn't use anything with him. Oh, that's such a waste. Oh, no! That's 2 units down. And they what the hell is going on? That definitely didn't communicate a crash in the UI. Oh, Jesus, we might have just lost off of that. Hopefully our missiles will take out their right arm. Yeah, I don't know where that shotgun shot went to, but... Yeah, it's like this turn... I don't know what's going on, but like I'm firing at stuff that's just not... doesn't seem to be... like it doesn't seem like it exists, and it feels like my units just collided for seemingly no reason. Oh, the behemoth is gonna get pummeled. Oh, this is gonna be so sad. And we didn't get the right arm. That sucks. This second one's gotta make it work. Okay, sidearm time. This is not, like, this doesn't count, like, cover. There's no safer place for the Hermes to go. I mean, the damage has already been done. The worst that can happen now is I lose the legs, so. Okay, the Behemoth could be better, but I could also be much worse, so I'm gonna respec them to potentially a missile platform right now. So nobody actually seems to be coming after them. Let's think about the people... So again, the plan has got to be to push this deeper into the woods. The next thing I want to do is I want to try and take out the tracks on as many of these things so that I don't need to worry about them when we get into the woods. So this guy's a prime candidate. Oh. Yeah. Now, the lance is starting to look worse for wear. Well, fortunately, not a lot of stuff is attacking us, though. That seems like an opportunity. Okay, so we attack each other at the same time. So I want to be a little cautious here on the chance that me crashing into them doesn't have the intended effect. I basically just want to make sure that that shield's down the second the attack finishes. One on them, but that doesn't seem like I have much of an opportunity to do any follow-up work. Yeah, I cook. Alright, well, you know what? It's better than nothing, because this thing's more or less fresh. And the only other question is, can I get another round of missiles? Oh yeah, this thing, like, doesn't gen. Okay, so I got 2 bounce with my sidearm. That's not really an optimal range, so... I get the need to hide from the shot. Okay, no. Now, I definitely see the need to hide from the shots now, because I die otherwise. Okay, great. So this guy's going to eject next turn. This guy's going to be crashing. Doesn't do anything else, so the shotgun shot on them is wasted. And now the question is, how protected is the Hermes? I guess the sidearm shots are sort of wasted now, seeing as we know that they'll be taken out. But given the fact that we're coming after tanks now, we're going to be able to use the terrain to our advantage, and we might be able to see this thing come through to the end. I probably should have dodged. We'll see how punishing that. I must have lost track of all the missiles. We'll see. I guess we'll see how punishing it is. That's a lot of damage I'm taking on the right arm. Oh, it's the left arm. That's actually the worst possible area to get hit right now. I think that's the last of it. As long as it's the last of it, we'll be okay. Okay, good. So it's really important that I take out the treads on these things as much as possible. As long as I do that, we can take them at long range all day. This is definitely the stuff of nightmares. Commander of the base is circled around to the perimeter. We're ready to pick the squad up if needed. It's needed, but unless I have a way of packing up Ingrid, we don't leave people behind. Okay. So an ideal move would be to get a shot off right away. I can't, so let's try and recover. I don't think I have any options here. I think I am going to have to set up the shield. Yeah, I think in this case we just need to move in. So I am going to take some damage on the right-hand side. Oh, I really can't afford... Oh, God! Alright. It's a hard choice to take it either way, but at least this keeps me from two sources of damage. Good lord, this is grim. Okay, so the one bit of good news here is that it looks like the Hermes isn't really being targeted right now. Actually, neither of these are very useful targets right now, so let's just move in. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the Hermes is sort of unloved as a target to get some attacks of opportunity on... So there's definitely a lot of specialization that's going to be happening here with this squad. Basically, the Hermes can only use their sidearm, and that basically means that the Hermes is reduced to engaging anything that has been able to make it in the into this region. The Behemoth is going to be focused on, as much as they can at least, is going to be focused on, and you know what? I should change the walking pattern a little bit. It's not great, but it gets me, like... It keeps me in the action. Okay, so this Behemoth... actually, you know what? Sorry, I should think this through a little bit. Okay, so we get the collision. Now, nobody's attacking him after that, so this is the time to go on the offensive. That's not going to hit anything. Yeah, so then the question is, like, it's all well and good to go on the offensive, but am I going to be where I need to be for that to work? God, this is such a risk, but the thing that's great about this is I can throw the shield up and then just walk through them like that. Okay, so then the problem with the Behemoth is I need to get them out of danger from the people who are targeting them. And again, the name of the game is to just try and drop as many missiles as I can on potential threats. Okay, I think I've used everyone on the team. This is definitely the time that I really need to be careful about damage. So sadly, this damage couldn't be avoided. I'm basically just choosing... Oh, they're hitting the legs. It's choosing the least bad of all the really terrible options. I don't get how that worked at all. I'm probably going to take out my own legs with that secondary weapon now. Oh, that sucks! I don't even know how they could get a... Well, I guess my arm was extended. Yeah, so I'm taking the damage, but the friendly fire, like the collision didn't happen. Okay, that's immobilized again, but my ability to... So the problem is that a lot of my strategy here was predicated on the idea that I would be able to take out... I'd be able to take out units at long range. That's no longer true. Oh, this is tough. Okay. My intention was to try and run once I saw what the numbers were, but losing Kilo sort of put an end to that. Okay, so the Behemoth does have a bit of health to play around with. So I'm not excited about trading shots, but at this point here I need to consider health to be a resource that I can exploit. Okay, so I think this is probably everybody's new best friend, attack-wise. Yeah, everybody wants them. So if I just run them out... Again, a lot of this is kind of contingent on the idea that I keep my legs. But I need to... Again, I need to be more aggressive based on the loss of that secondary weapon on the Behemoth. Okay. Oh, this guy surrendered. Okay, so I gotta keep an eye on that surrender notification. So the attack's already happening on the Behemoth. Nothing's gonna change that. So this does free up the Hermes to do other things. So the important thing to remember right now is that immobile, 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 these are the moving units. So basically moving the battle onto this side, in fact, even running under, like we have the option of sort of going under the bridge if we feel like we can get the the movement around it. So what I want to try and do is I want to build a turn around I want to try and build a turn around the idea that ooh, that's a bit of a bummer. Oh, can I not run? Oh, that's a shame. I guess they made it so that like the clearance is not enough. I was thinking we could run under the bridge. So am I not doing anything this round? I guess my next best would be to like try and do a shot on the... I should try and... Yeah, I should try and get something done here. Good God. Those legs are looking so bad. Oh, hey, Eddie Scholl. Sorry, I thought you were Night Valian. Yeah, I do think the game needs more attention. I'm definitely having a really... I'm really sorry I didn't answer your statements before. I was really... I'm really struggling on this one. I lost my melee unit in a rather unfortunate accident, and I'm trying to keep my cool. My main tank is really hurting on the legs, but I can't really afford to pull anybody out of the... I really can't afford to pull anybody out. I will say there are actually a couple of good streamers who do cover this game, but I'm not really sure what their plans or their schedules are for it. So I'm under the impression that Azure Wind wants to cover this at some point, and he does games like XCOM extremely well. But you're right, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I will admit I'm a little surprised, especially given how sort of telegenic this game is, that there isn't sort of a more immediate demand to be, to be streaming this game. Because it sounds great. I think it's relatively easy to sort of follow what somebody's doing or why they're doing it. And so I feel like it's a particularly streamable game, but it's also in early access. Like, I ran into a couple of bugs which I feel like might have put me on the wrong foot. So maybe that's what's came us. Okay, that wasn't a terrible turn, but it looks like everybody hates the behemoth now. So. Oh, that's kind of coming from everywhere. Okay. Okay, you know what? Let's start by looking at what's happening with the lance. Okay, so nobody's really targeting the lance. I should use that to my advantage. So we'll nestle them in the corner there, and we'll get some pot shots on all the units that we can. So the Hermes I also think is reasonably free. So again, we go crazy with the sidearm. Now it's not the most efficient distribution of damage because I'm going to be splitting that on both sides of this tank. But you know, you got to war with the army that you have. This guy is a real pain. I actually don't have a good answer for them, especially given that my closest available unit has a sniper rifle. And I trip over the surrendering tank, so that's not viable. That's still a trip. So I'm trying to build this in such a way. Obviously, these guys are going to attack the... Okay, that's not good. Alright, so maybe I just wait here. Again, it's just a question in terms of when I accept the damage and at what times. I can maybe sneak up like this. I'm going to assume that leaves me wide open for next turn, but I'm thinking with these guys I might be able to just sort of sneak around the edge. More importantly, it's created enough space for my my other guys to do some work. So let's see. This is a risky approach, but it might actually work. Okay. I am really encouraged to see how many of these things are getting their treads taken out, because as long as we take out their treads, we get to dictate the terms of the engagement. That's why this guy should be public enemy number 1, but I've got a few other things I gotta work on. Also, each turn that my lance doesn't take damage is a turn that it's able to get some health back on its legs. Okay, that's another one disabled. Oof. I keep forgetting about the concussive damage. They're going to get taken off the board in a little bit if I'm not careful. So again, wasted effort on this guy. The sidearm's not going to be doing anything, but... Okay, another one crashing. That's good. So as long as we focus this guy down, we can pretty much... It's not like a free ride, but I'll do a review of the battlefield in just a second to sort of show you what a good position that puts us in. Okay, so I'm going to assume it's going to be party... Yeah, it's party time on the behemoth again. So, here's the thing. This unit has... This unit stuck. This unit stuck. Actually, they're surrendering, so that's good. This unit stuck. This unit stuck. This unit has full movement. It's actually moving away, though. This unit stuck. This unit stuck. This unit stuck. And this unit has... Oh, interesting. So this unit has full movement, but is not attacking. Wow. Okay. There might be a light at the end of the tunnel on this. So public enemy number 1 right now are basically any units that can move and damage me in my little island of safety. Now it looks like they're going to be crashing into the surrendering unit. So basically what I want to do is I want to take my sidearm. I want to unload as many rounds into that thing as I possibly can. Particularly while it's crashing, because that just gives me a nice little advantage. The other thing I got to be careful about is friendly fire. But I also want to make sure that I'm in cover. Like, this is the thing. It's nice that this thing has been disabled. It doesn't mean that it can't threaten my units. This is actually one of the most threatening units because it's got this nice wide shot on the area where all the action's happening. There's a small argument actually for me to make a special journey out to take this guy out. The thing is that I just simply don't have the health resources to be able to justify that. Okay, let's just see where the threats are coming from. Okay, so if I try to dash, where would that get me? That would make me too hot. So I can kind of only direct my shield at one threat at a time. Although... Okay, so I run over a mountain and I get shot in the back. Oh wait, no, I'm still good. That's why I have a shield. Okay, well with that in mind, I can revise my approach. I gotta change where the Hermes is moving just to make sure that there's no friendly fire. It's a tight window. Okay. Got to think about the ideal movement for the lance because it's the slowest, and so it's going to have the hardest time to... It's going to have the hardest time managing. Also, it's not like people aren't attacking. I gotta remember that. Yeah, so somebody is actually attacking. Okay, no, hang on. I need to totally reimagine this turn, but it's fine. This is actually going to work much better for me. Okay, so it looks like they do want my sniper. Well, that's fine. I believe the hill still gives me cover. Well, maybe, maybe not. I still want a good shot at the most threatening unit on the field right now. So okay. So the sniper's kind of going to dictate the tone of this first little bit. So again, I'm just sort of saying that where everything's situated here, I can ignore these guys. Okay, so the lance, again, this is my heavy. So, okay, shields dealing with an incoming, shields dealing with an incoming. Behind the hill for the rest of the threats, and so... Gets to have fun with his shotgun immediately following. But there is still a shot that comes after that. Okay, so... as a safety precaution. Now, another meaningful question is anybody actually targeting the Hermes right now? Okay, the answer to that is no. That's also very important information. So that unit's surrendering. So this actually means that I have a little bit of time where the Hermes can sort of run in and take out targets of opportunity. I still need a game plan for how they get home. Like it's not enough for me to just sort of sit there and do 2 hits and then just hope nothing happens to me next turn. It sucks. You know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. If I need to dash... Okay, no, the one thing I am going to do differently, though, is I'm going to run back like this. So that way if I need to dash, I can dash behind cover. So I'm making myself bait here, so I can dash behind the cover, and I'm not taking that second shot because it's not going to be effective. And it'll give me enough heat to retaliate. So I think that covers us. Again, one, slow motion looks cool, so that's my main reason for doing this. But number 2, it's also really good for me to find out exactly what's screwing my units. Okay, so it took it on its shield. I'm fine with that. We still have 1,000 left on the shield. A little less, but it's all the other parts that are weak. That's good news for us. Alright, again, I really don't know what's happening on the spread on this thing. This thing only fires 2 shots, so I don't think it's going to make the... I don't think it's going to be the game changer, but... that's very good news. Okay, so the bullet's still coming in. It does look like they took the bait on the Hermes, which is fantastic. Yep, they're ignoring the lance entirely. That's so good. Okay, so obvious step for the Hermes. Get out of there. I'll start moving up at the end of the turn just because the shots will be done. Okay, then the next question is, what do I do with the the lance, because there is an attack that's coming in after them. Well, actually, it looks like their movement's already done, so really the rest of this is just about positioning for the optimal shotgun shot on the biggest threat to my sniper. I really want to be careful about that one. So, if I can get that shot in, I really should, even if it's not in an optimal range, I should get that shot in as early as I possibly can. Yeah, I'll do a little movement. It's a hard call to say whether or not I should be moving back and shooting or just standing and shooting, but optimal range does sort of make a difference here. Okay, so it looks like they're targeting the sniper as well. So yeah, I mean, this is a very, very tough call to make, but I think in this case here, I'm gonna have to rely, number one, on the lance doing its job, and number two, this thing's got 257 health left. It's going to attack at the 2-second mark. This thing does not 600 damage. It doesn't tell me what it does per shot. The idea here is that so I'm more or less done my shots. So I am effectively banking on me surviving to get that final shot off. This might be the last action that this unit takes, because these guys are just outside of optimal range, but the damage that this thing can do is 418 in a full volley. That is enough to kill this unit. This thing has got 600 in its most armored location. This thing does 1400 in a full volley. So yeah, I mean, again, this is very, very hopeful. I guess one other thing I should consider, my Hermes is not helpless during all of this. Let's tilt things in our favor. And then, of course, the next question is, what do I do with the lance following this? So I may wind up suppressing myself. Actually, this guy still has full movement. I need to remember that. Okay, so assuming I'm still around. It's not worth it. Gonna put myself in a safety spot. Well, there really isn't a safe spot anymore. Yeah, so if I stand my ground... I mean, I did build this turn around the idea of taking out that unit, right? So let's commit to the strategy, and let's find what we can contribute to. The good news is it looks like a lot of units are starting to surrender, which is good. Okay, hold on to your breath. Okay, that's closer to us delivering what we need. Yes! Okay, at any point my behemoth can die now. I really need you to do that second shot. Thank God! We did it! Okay. So it looks like I am taking some damage. I might get hit in the legs, actually. If I get hit in the legs, then it's game over for that guy. But good lord, okay. Physics doesn't work like that. Oh, Jesus! Alright. So, because I didn't have full faith in the strategy, I lost my Hermes legs. I was originally going to use them to get the objective. We can still do it, but that does put them in a pretty tough spot. No way. They're able to shoot under the bridge? Aw, crap. Oh, that's bad. I don't think they will survive this, but you better believe I'm gonna try. I do need to keep them safe, though. Okay. So, everybody's focusing on the lance otherwise. Actually, you know what? There is one thing that I can do. If they want to play dirty like that... Dirty pool, old man. I like it. That's too close. The original plan was to be pursuing some of these other targets. But the thing, I mean, the ability to heal my my lance while all this madness is happening. Actually, there is one thing that might work in my favor. So if I walk around the edge like this, I can still set myself up a shield just in case there's any stray shots. So get a good shotgun shot on... I probably get two, actually. Nope. Gotta go back to my hidey hole. So the problem with this plan is that this unit gets to fire next turn. Oh god, that's like 2 full rounds that are coming after the Hermes. I don't think the Hermes is going to survive this, but let's see how it goes. He made it! My torso's looking pretty bad, but... And they're probably going to waste their turn trying to shoot in retaliation. Okay, so yes, I have a little bit of time. I'm not going to bother finishing the shot. I'm actually just going to... Oh, well, I guess I don't really have an option. So if I walk it off, what happens? I'm out of there. Okay, yeah, so I have to give up whatever I have to give up whatever I would have accomplished. Oh, this is so funny. I can't believe I'm doing this, but it is actually kind of fun. So I'm actually going to try and take the objective. No, see, the problem is that I'm risking that unit. As much as I would love to try and do that, there is the small possibility, especially given what happened to the Sleipnir. I just can't afford to do goofy stuff like that with the stakes where they are right now. So, but I still have some opportunities to mess with the enemy, so get to wait that out. Now again, just on the odd chance that there's some weird physics that causes problems with this, I'm actually going to move myself well, you know, oddly enough, so can I still dash at the end of that? Yeah. So I still end the turn, it's just I don't have to... Like, I'll be in a better position to decide whether or not the risks are there. I wonder what it is about the smoke that wants to connect to the other tanks. By the way, Edie Trolt, if you're still around, are you on the KitFox Discord? Because while I agree with you that the game definitely deserves a lot more attention on Twitch, especially if I'm the only option, I kind of feel like I'm going to drive people away from the game a lot more than into it. I like to think the KitFox community is really active there, and more importantly, it's great for bug reports. I've been pretty lax in terms of my bug reporting, if I'm completely honest, but I don't know, do as I say, not as I do. I try to encourage, especially people who are fans of these games, I really do try and encourage participation, because one of the things that I've found as a broadcaster, and particularly as a smaller broadcaster, is if when I stream a game, the community is sort of very, very positive and something that is like it can become a joy to stream a given game, and it makes me more likely to play it. Now I'm already sold on Phantom Brigade, and obviously they gave me the key for promotion and such, but I figured things like the Discords are a really good way to try and support that sort of activity. Alright, so the question is whether or not there's anything useful I can do with the Hermes. It is probably going to be slower because its legs have been shot out. It still has dashing. Yeah, the big question here is just how do I still effectively use this unit, knowing that I don't quite have the same ability to zip in and take out enemies as I used to. I think right now their role is to draw fire for this round. We'll see what happens in future rounds. Actually, I suppose there's one thing I can get them to do. No, actually, so I'm going to keep them here. So the idea is that people should be attacking the behemoth on this end, and what's going to happen the next round is the Hermes is going to zip out and claim they're going to be the second one to claim they're going to be the unit that claims the resource, or takes the objective next round. Okay, so I am a little curious. Well, I mean, if they hit it, I'm so happy, but I don't see moving with a sniper rifle as a recipe for success. So, next bit of excitement comes on this side of the map. I think we can afford to go to a half speed here. Okay, that thing's out. So I believe we're down to a single enemy. Okay. The drone has a rough location of the crate, but we're going to need another ping to ensure it's picked up. Stay at the location too. Okay, so as predicted, they're coming after the behemoth. So I'll just walk out. Okay, so let's just get a quick read on the enemy. The music has definitely changed, so it's definitely not in you're about to lose territory. Yeah, they've got one remaining unit, and it's focused entirely on the behemoth. It's actually the best thing I can do for them is just make it completely unambiguous that they are not under threat this round. Tuck them away in the hills. And so the next best thing for the Lance is to run in and tell them to stop bullying my teammates. It's pretty unlikely I'm going to be able to do anything with the shotgun this round, but it does pose something of a credible threat. I suppose there is one other consideration, which is I can position myself... Oh, I gotta remember. I still have an ally in this region. Oh, crap. Where's the Hermes? There we go. So any shot's better than nothing. Okay, so they're currently focused on the Lance, which is good. So Lance is basically just going to be able to throw up the shield. We still have about 1,000 left on it when I include the regenerative component. Okay. I don't think I have one final dash in me. We'll see. It's a huge risk if I do. Nope, I can't. Oh god, this is going to be so good. I don't like the heat, but it's a chance to like close the thing off. I suppose there is one last consideration, which is how I can get the sniper involved. Yeah, so with that in mind, I don't need to unnecessarily risk my units like that. So shields up, ready for the attack. Shields up, ready for the attack. I take a little bit of heat damage from the dash. Actually, yeah, I mean, I suppose if I'm really committing to it, I can just as easily walk into it. So I think I do take a little more damage because it's an optimal range, but I don't take the heat damage. And again, the shield is designed to be able to take that stuff. So 418, if it was a perfect round for them, the shield still has enough to be able to absorb the attacks. Okay, so Lance draws fire, or the Lance draws fire. Obviously, Tango is the owner. Sidearm kind of keeps doing its thing, and the sniper takes him in the crossfire. All right, and I'm going to slow-mo it because this is hopefully the final round of a really, really tough battle. There we go. All right. What a fight! Oh, Jesus. Let's not do that again. So that's 2 sets of legs, 1 incapacitated pilot, tons of bragging rights. But now, one thing I really need to start thinking about is whether or not I can afford to be bringing light units into these hit and run missions, because obviously, like, I have no idea how extraction works. I've never had to extract a team where one of them is down. It would make sense that the pilot gets captured, but I don't know if that's what they do. All right, 75-second battle, 8,606 damage taken, 28,726 damage inflicted, 220 actions planned, almost 3 kilometers traveled, 10 units destroyed, 398 supplies on site. This is the first time that we have taken on overwhelming forces. So pretty intact heavy here. Sadly, the looks like the missile launchers lost. Yeah, I mean, for all that effort, I feel like we should have got something a little bit better. All right. I'm going to take a quick second here just to save. Just in case there's any funny business. So the thing I'm worried about is that that oddness that I ran into, where like it didn't treat one of my parts as repaired. Let's go take another convoy right away. Oh wait, we were going for the radio station. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm not getting any warnings about the units. Let's take a look at my pilots and see the... yeah, perhaps unsurprisingly, Kilo is a little worse for wear. They've been with us 89 battles. I am a little reluctant to pull them out because, I mean, they are sort of the second... They do have the second longest tenure, but I can sort of see giving them some R&R. I am, by the way, at the end of the time that I would normally have... would have finished this stuff. But I feel I should at least do the radio station. I don't know if I have another like base battle. Depending on how tough this stuff goes. I think we're gonna do recon. I can't really afford the extra fatigue. There is a chance we need to fight, which is a shame. If it turns out charge, I think is a little too optimistic. So we're gonna roll the dice on recon. You approach an isolated radio broadcast tower. It appears eerily calm, and yet the base is picking up too much seismic noise to detect if there are mechs nearby. A bit worrying, isn't it? One of your pilots says to you in hushed tones. Not sure how we should approach this. Caught out just as you are approaching to deploy a small squad. The base's control room lights up. Hey, thank you very much with the follow there, Edie Trolled. The base's control room lights up with warnings of incoming fire. It looks like the enemies were lying in wait nearby. We don't have time to deploy the whole squad. You'll have to manage with 2, cries the driver. Quick, shouts one of your pilots. There's no time to lose. All right, surely I can switch out Kilo. It's the oh man, this is gonna be an exciting team. All right, Golf, do us proud. The Lance Sleipnir combo. This could go very, very well, or this could be a disaster. Oddly enough, you do have enough time to equip new things on your units. So being medium, I am going to take a time just to see this. So good heat dissipation. The left item... Oh! Better heat, much better damage than the... Okay, so... Light melee weapon, useful CQC. It can supplement the loadout for a low-range walker. Blade variant with overall more demanding stats and excellent damage output. So better heat, no concussive damage, slight change for range. Oh, the weight might be the problem. So let's just take a look and see what the... Down to 23. You know what? I think I'm actually willing to... So normally I kind of make speed everything. Actually, when do I actually use my sidearm is the question. Now, you know what? Screw it. As I learned last time, sidearms can mean... A good sidearm can mean the difference between whether or not you make it out or not, so... I am going to accept a slight hit to my overall speed. Especially because of the heat. How does that compare to my... Yeah, that I feel like this is going to be a mobility choice. Okay, there's a light arrow. I'm currently rocking a bean medium. So the question would be, what would it look like if I put the empty plating on it? I could have done that slightly differently, but... I'm just equipping so much old stuff because it's really hard to outdo these... Okay, so better integrity, better barrier, slight hit to mass, although 2380 isn't... Oh, no, hang on. Okay, so it's the heat dissipation that I'm giving up. No, this actually gives me back some of my weight. Okay, I think I am going to keep this. Again, I feel a little weird about it, but this does seem to be the right call. Other than the dissipate. The dissipation is a little bit of a worry, if I'm completely honest, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I need to find a better way of finding my old parts. The color coding system is nice, but I'm at a point now where I've got so many of them, it's actually hard to keep track. Okay. What time is this? Right, better barrier. The dissipation might have made it attractive. Well, it does have sorting options. I'm just not taking advantage of them because I don't think it quite has... So I can do it by level. Oh, I can also filter, but I don't actually have any options for those in here, so... Anyways, I got what I needed. It's a little more helpful for weapons. I don't know, maybe being able to sort by brand is what you need, but I'd say probably across certain... Probably you'd want it across certain stats and such. So overall, this has improved my survivability. The main thing was actually the mass. Now, the worry I have is the heat dissipation. Also, I just want to see if I can get higher level empty plating. Well, I've already got level 12 equipped, so I think that's fine. Heavy legs are probably a no-go for this unit. So yeah, I did give up a little bit of speed, but I'm hoping that I'm going to just be able to manage my heat a little bit better over time. And then the Lance, I think it's unlikely that we found new stuff, but it doesn't hurt to take a look. So right now I've got the Helga Heavy. I don't really see any reason why I should be, you know, making my tank unit any less defensible. It's also very unlikely that I'm going to want to put a gray Nox on. The stance shield is quite a bit less powerful, and only a fragment of the, really only a fragment of the weight. Wait, that's Svalin. Yeah, so like it's a slight increase in weight to to get an overall less tanky shield. Thanks, but no thanks. For arms, again, it's a gray, so it's pretty unlikely I'm going to take it. For the lower body, we could put some Vidar legs on. Now, the Vidar legs are attractive because they tend to have better heat dissipation. We've got excellent hydraulics on these right now. Improved hydraulics, okay, this is tempting. So we give up a little bit in terms of the barrier. So what I'll do, just as a test, I'm going to stick improved hydraulics on the Helga. That'll give us the apples-to-apples comparison, and if it's dominant, if the Vidar legs are dominant, we'll switch them out. Okay, so looks like they are still a bit heavier. So I get, oops, well, looks like the decision was made for me. No. I am actually kind of tempted to put them on. So let's just, I'm going to sit down. I want to reason my way through why I would pick one over the other. So why do I want the Helga legs? The Helga legs are, so about 800 something in terms of defensibility. You know what? I lied. I am actually going to hang on, because it occurred to me that the regen is kind of, well, yeah. I think I'm getting a little nervous over the fact that I almost lost my legs on the other one. The thing is that just, like, my speed is already so low, so I do kind of want to be very strict in terms of the... Yeah, I think I'm actually going to stick with my old legs, but I will consider the Vidars as a possible alternative. Okay. We are a little bit closer to the enemy level here, it looks like, so hopefully it's not quite the nightmare. 6 contacts. What a persistent bunch. Command won't commit any more drop squads to this site, so let's get this over with. And we have got 5 tanks and a heavy shotgun with a missile launcher. Ouch. That is going to be a world of hurt. Okay, so priority number 1, I want to get the shotgun on the ground, and I want to get it... I want to take that thing out as soon as humanly possible. I'm actually going to do 2 dashes at the start. That'll give me time to cool down. Like, I want this thing down at the very start of this turn. But am I willing? I'm probably not willing to take the heat. Alright, looks like I do need that to complete for the rest of the turn. Now, I'm going to take my lance. I'm going to dance around the... I'm going to sort of dance around the hill a little bit. I'm still going to take advantage of the fact that I can... that I got a shield that I can put up. That's basically going to be how I survive this turn. And I'm going to try and make it so that as much of the sort of the threat as possible is coming in sort of from one direction. Okay, so wait it out, and then we'll just start trampling over tanks. The other thing I need to take a look at is what kind of weapons. So autocannon is a... Yeah, the autocannon is actually a big threat to me. So the hope would have been to get the lance in shotgun range of the enemy, but I suppose as like a second best, at least I'm kind of taking him. Oh, nope. That's already a problem. I'm going to trip over the tank. I need to be very, very careful about that stuff. Okay, contact still happens on the... Oh, god damn it. Okay. Change of plans. Because the autocannon's actually firing at the melee unit, I need to read. So the problem with that is I'm putting myself in danger of the shotgun fire. This is a lot harder than I thought it was. As soon as I realized that they're... Okay, I'm not crazy about the heat that I'm taking, but it keeps this unit alive, and they're still in a position to do a primary attack on the shotgun wielder, even if it means that they need to take heat as well. Actually, I suppose, yeah. With that under consideration, I should probably take one more look. Nah, that's as good as I'm gonna get. This is where I would have been in the old system. So second hit if I have to, I suppose, but they're probably going to be attacking the Sleipnir anyway. But even if I have to take full heat damage, I cannot afford a shotgun. Oh no, huh? I will confess I am actually rather surprised that they are not taking advantage of the fact that the Sleipnir's just like sitting there begging to get hit. Okay, so I'm going to take some damage. It's going to be out of the optimal range, which is nice. I don't have to play completely passively. So I'll contribute a little bit to the cause. Okay. So the appeal, the thing I want to focus on here is to basically just get the lance sort of throwing up its shield. I don't want to be taking hits to the back. Otherwise, everything is fair game so far. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to want to get on the other side of the hill. Everything is fair game as far as sort of taking damage and trampling on things. Again, the unit that's wielding the shotgun is sort of the highest priority in terms of attacks. I suppose even at the risk of like taking damage from damage in the back, I think probably the best way for me to handle that is just to eliminate the threats. So it's a much more simple turn this time. Okay, so not too much concussive damage yet. That guy's completely wiped out. And where's the missile? So I'm gonna have to do a dash at some point to get around that, but... Come on, one more. To be continued. Alright, so if they're going to be threatening the Sleipnir, Sleipnir hasn't taken any damage yet, so we just go straight into him. That's going to take them, that's at least going to crash them, probably take them out. Now the next question is, does anybody else threaten the Sleipnir this turn? No, so I get basically free reign on the enemy. I think the way I'm going to handle that, so my ideal would actually be to target the unit with the shotgun. That's not a possibility for me right now because of the fact that this unit is in the way. But as it turns out, I don't have enough heat to... Now, you know what? I should still probably wait it out. So, move in close-ish. So I could do a secondary attack. That would probably be better heat-wise. Well, let's take a look and see. Because this would be more about damage more than anything. Okay. Okay, well, that secondary weapon's earning its keep. I'm just going to set myself up in safety in case... Oh no, this guy's already ejecting. Cool. Okay, so again, I got to keep the presence of the missile in mind. I also need to get myself into a slightly more defensible position against the enemy units here. So they're going to open fire at the 1.2. Okay, they all kind of open up at the same time. So what I'm doing with this movement here is making sure that they're all pointing in the same direction. I'm also going to do something really counterintuitive here, and I'm going to dash. Although I want to see who fires. Okay, there's only a couple units that fire afterwards. So I'm going to dash here. The reason for the dash is on the odd chance that the missile is still a threat. And then if I can get another shotgun shell in, I can, but I take a bit of damage. So instead, I just I should point my shield at the more credible threat. So this is a little bit more defensive, but again, that's by design. Especially seeing as the enemy mech is down, I don't have quite the same worry. Oh, this will be interesting. Alright, so the dash is now totally irrelevant. Okay, so now it's time for revenge. There's 3 units here. They're all attacking or crashing. And really the question now is just, when's the appropriate gap for firing shotguns at people? So I guess maybe for protection I'll... Thing is, like, I'm in the middle of the fight here, so I do actually want to make sure that I keep my unit protected. If that means I need to wait before I can fire a shotgun, so be it. It also means that the Sleipnir is completely open and can do whatever it wants. So I think it's a little optimistic to think that I can get away with 2 of those in the same round, but... Yeah, there seems to be something about... Oh, it's because of this little valley here. Alright, that's fine. Let's sort of run around the edge and get ready to do it again. Nobody's surrendering yet, huh? Well, this guy's thinking about it. They're holding back. So I need to shield up around the 1 second mark. So in this case, I'm going to move back because the funny thing is that my shotgun actually has a better range outside of their autocannon. So I'm sort of doing them a favor by moving the way that I've been moving lately. And actually, the funny thing is, I can afford to, once I get my shot off, I can actually afford to just walk away. Yeah, it's too late. So I'll just sort of stand and take it. I should wait for the shotgun to finish. Actually, hang on. Yeah, he's fresh, so... Shotgun's probably not going to be enough to finish the job. Although, now that I think of it, I can mitigate a lot of that damage just by going in. Yeah. This makes a hell of a lot more sense. So, initial damage. I sort of get myself in position for... Actually, you know what? I could probably do a secondary. You better not be surrendering this turn. Nope. Okay, I feel good about this. All right, so we set up a shield. Clean them out, assuming that that hasn't already happened. Oh, they're actually attacking the Sleipnir. So they're not necessarily going to crash off of that melee attack. I do need to make sure that the Sleipnir is safe. So after the attack is finished, put him behind a hill. It's probably better if I just go... Needless overkill. Needless to say, not quite the same challenge that we faced on the convoy. Alright, 30-second battle, 1,738 damage taken, 8,506 inflicted, no units lost, no subsystems on site, 54 actions planned, 807 meters traveled, 6 units destroyed, no parts on site, 194 supplies on site. Yeah, I guess we destroyed everything because the pilot who was about to eject got taken out. Defector rescued. Your squad emerges victorious, though tired from battle. The defector is safe, and you're able to rescue her from the station. I didn't know if you get to me in time, she says, relief evident on her face. I promised information in exchange for this extraction, didn't I? She hands you a sheaf of paper, and you unroll them to find valuable industrial blueprints. She's also brought some supplies from the station with her. So, some extra supply. We'll take the 6 hours. The biggest appeal of the repair, actually, I mean, so one is the repair time and such, but it's actually to give Kilo more time to rest. I'm super happy with the B team, but clearly it's a little bit better if I have my the units who I'd like. Now I'm also very curious what I'm salvaging here because it said I didn't have anything. Oh, great! During some downtime, one of your pilots approaches you, looking sheepish. By the way, I don't think I'm going to be able to do another battle tonight, but just a heads up. So, during some downtime, one of your pilots approaches you looking sheepish. Hey boss, he says, look, I don't mean to bother you, but, well, it's my birthday today, and a few of us were wondering if we could do a little something to celebrate. We've been working so hard lately, it'd be nice to relax. Behind him, you can see a couple of your pilots looking on eagerly, waiting for your response. Our response is, get back to work, you loafers! No. We'll throw a small party, so one... I'm obviously already salvaging. So, also, it's a little funny that apparently it's India who's asking, Bridget, who is not a he. But I don't know if the game has a way... Like, because this is the problem, right? Battletech, I think, handled this really well, which was... and, like, I was really annoyed at how people got up in arms about this. They gave you 3 pronoun options and access to all of the portraits, which I think is great, right? Because at this point, you get to pick whatever game you want to play, and you're done with it, and the text adjusts accordingly. The challenge here, of course, is that I don't think there is, other than the sort of the way that the name is printed and the portrait, you make inferences, I suppose, but I don't think the game ever gives you an option in terms of specifically gendering your characters. So, again, India's a member of the B team, so I haven't actually worked out any particular lore. But it was sort of funny for me to just see the text. But on the other hand, too, like you got to pick your battles, right? In the case of BattleTech, you are playing like you have a specific character that has become the head of this mercenary company. And it is sort of this story of the Irano restoration. So there is a role-playing element to it. Whereas I do know there's going to be pilot progression inside of this, but I don't know how in-depth they're going to approach it. In any case, I probably don't need to unpack a single line of dialogue, especially because the pronouns actually do a fairly good job of alternating in terms of the he's and she's on the team. Throw a small party. So yeah, what I do want to do is I want to at least wrap up the work that we were working on here. It'll be interesting if I start next week on a convoy battle. I don't know if I quite have it in me to do that, because that one was hard. That was a level 16, I think. But I think that's where we're going to leave it. It's actually not a bad part. I've definitely gotten past the days where I used to be able to sort of free up a province each stream. Part of that, I think, is because I'm using slow motion a little bit more, but also, or not quite a bit more. I think the other thing is that we're running into some really tough battles. So by far, I mean, as far as quality of gameplay, like I really, really liked having to work through that hard mission. Because I was definitely not sure. I was not sure whether or not we would be getting through to the end. Had I been thinking, I would have, you know, I would have. I would have like, I would have done like the prediction thing in terms of the stream. I know not everybody really likes using it, but anyways. This was really fun. I suspect we've got a couple more weeks of this before the new update comes in. If I had my preference, I would actually be doing I would be doing this more than once a week, but I am a little bit I'll confess, I am a little bit like strapped for time a bit. When it comes down to it, so Monday is usually Phantom Brigade. This is maybe just not a bad time for me to talk about what's going on with the stream. So Monday is normally Phantom Brigade, and probably will be for the next, you know, the foreseeable future. I mean, I might change it up. Traditionally, Monday has been free for like a strategy game, but the thing about Phantom Brigade and Industries of Titan is that they get updated so regularly that it makes sense to keep streaming them. Whereas if I've got something like Stellaris and I've completed the latest update, normally there's another strategy game that has gotten an update that people would also really like to see. So, you know, I just kind of, I work with the incentives that I've been given. You know, maybe in the case of something like the quality of life update, that might be not a bad time for me to try, you know, something different as a one-off. So we can get a little bit of variety, and not in the sense that I don't think quality of life is as important, but I think it's maybe a little bit different than having all of a sudden, you know, missiles and beam weapons added, which I suspect will be like a really big draw, but we'll see. As a reminder, if you're not following the Phantom Brigade Discord, it is a really nice server there. There's lots of feedback. More, from what I understand, the lengthier feedback, which I'm probably more likely to give, you can put into the feedback forum, or you can go on, the feedback forum. I think there's also bug reporting within the game, but I don't know the button on its own. As far as what I do, as it's turned out so far, Monday for Phantom Brigade. Tomorrow there will be another Elder Scrolls episode that's already uploaded and I believe still being digested by Twitch, but it is ready to go. Wednesday we'll be back for more Industries of Titan. We did have to reset the playthrough, but I'm really looking forward to going back to that and seeing if we can start taking out some of the rebel bases. And then Friday, I feel like we're getting closer to the end of Hollow Knight, although we were stuck at 99% by the end of that, by the end of all of the Path of Pain nonsense, so we'll see where we're at there. But if I have an opportunity for another stream, I will definitely take it, and it's most likely I would do Phantom Brigade or Industries of Titan if I were to add another day to the week. The only thing is that I know Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are that's the most sustainable schedule that I have. And it is, I will confess, like, it's nice to have the option to do an extra day, as opposed to make a commitment on a day and then have to pull back on it. So for those of you who are only here for Phantom Brigade, I will see you all in a week. For those of you who are here for my stuff, if you like pre-recorded, I'll see you tomorrow. If you like live stuff, I'll see you possibly Wednesday. And until then, have a wonderful... Oh, wait a minute. I haven't figured out who I'm hosting yet. I gotta try and come up with other stuff to say now. Battletech is a good game that is also mech-related, if you would like to check that out. Brace Yourself is a very cool developer who I'm actually really happy that they, tossed me a key and have let me do this. They do also stop by the stream every once in a while, which is really nice. And unfortunately, there's no Phantom Brigade people playing right now. So I guess for a lack of any other options, let's see Night Valian, who is currently playing Yakuza 5 Remastered. So either he has finished Yakuza 6, or I misspoke when I said he was playing Yakuza 6. So I know there's only a handful of you left. Sorry if I was babbling on a little bit too much, but one way or the other, I really appreciate you all hanging out. I will see some of you again tomorrow for VOD, Wednesday for the next live broadcast, and for those of you that just really like seeing mechs fighting, I will see you all next week. Have a good one.